Okay, so we're turning our attention now to the upcoming convention of the All Progressives Congress. Well, we did see how long it took for them to be able to fix a date for February 26th. And then even when that date was picked, there were questions as to whether or not that date was going to hold. But we saw a categorical letter to INEC confirming that the convention was going to take place on the 26th of February. But now there are questions as to how the party is going to zone seats within its leadership. There have been some headlines in that regard, and there are questions as to whether or not the APC is going to be able to survive this convention on the 26th. We have with us this morning Mr. Ibrahim Modibbo, who is a former member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, here with us, and Alwan Hassan is a member of the All Progressives Congress. Both gentlemen, you're both members of the same political party. Both of you are welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning.
Thank you, Margaret.
Let me start with you, Mr. Modibbo. Do you exercise any fears about the upcoming convention on the 26th of February?
Thank you very much, Margaret, for inviting me this morning to share my thoughts on this fundamental issue of great importance, not only to our party, but to democracy at large in Nigeria. Now, looking at the APC as a political party, very formidable and a party to beat, the February 26th National Convention is sacrosanct. Everything, I think, is put in proper perspective because we've seen letters sent out to INEC, justifying that date as the proper date for the convention. Secondly, we've also seen, just last Friday, a 14-page pullout, of the revised edition of the Constitution, which was drafted by one of our seasoned lawyers, Professor Tahir. He headed the committee. But the major fundamental issue of great worry is, where are the zones? We are going into election, and they've started by today. As I'm talking to you now, I have from a very reliable authority that most distinguished senator and His Excellency Al Makura is on his way to the National Secretariat to go and buy his form. But my major concern is, where are the zoning formula? Are we leaving the whole thing open? A blanket statement that anybody can come in and contest? Or are we zoning the offices? As of now, that is where the confusion lies.
So there is no clarity on that as we speak?
As we speak now, I have not been able to get any authoritative, statement from the Secretariat identifying which states will get what, because under normal circumstances, we've seen the normal practice in our democratic culture. I have been in this political turf since 2001 as a director, and I think I know a lot about party politics. They should have been zoning by now to give us the focus and direction to which every zone will have representation. Because if you leave it open now, without mentioning where the zones are, does it mean that anybody can contest for any position? That means you can decide to bring up the whole ESCO from one state or one political zone. This is where the confusion lies. And I hope they'll be able to clear this air maybe between today and tomorrow so as to give focus and attention to us, the political class, where the zones are, who and who is going to contest for what, or which zones will produce what, so as to give an all-encompassing national cohesion. Because the area of convergence, and I think also the issue the issue that is of fundamental importance is that we must address issues based on national cohesion, integration, peace, and tranquility.
Okay, so let me ask Alwan, I know that your party did take great pains before now to skirt around the issues of zoning. I know that, because it gave the PDP, it will seem, some problems, and maybe they were trying to avoid that. But is this really a big deal for your party, the fact that, positions and slots have not been zoned ahead of a national convention?
It is a very big deal, Malpi. And I think it's a deliberate act from Buni to destabilize the party. He doesn't want to go. Once there is a convention and a substantive NWC comes in, Maimala has ceased to be the caretaker chairman. He's enjoying it at the detriment of the party and the people in the country.
Detriment?
Yes. He doesn't mind. He wouldn't mind killing the party in his own vested interest.
Those are very strong words.
I'm telling you authoritatively, seeing. Okay, let me ask you some questions. Let me say some things that will make you know that this man does not want to go. Where are the subcommittees for proper organization of the next week's convention? Where are they? Who is he speaking to? When was the last time Maimala Buni sat with his caretaker 13-man committee? When? When was the last time he sat with them? We want to know. What are they planning? This is 2 weeks to convention. Nobody is talking with anybody. There should be subcommittee. 13 people cannot give us a convention. You have to have subcommittees for election on the day of convention. You have to have subcommittees for logistics. You have to have such subcommittees for mobilization. You know, these are the subcommittees that will properly organize the convention. It has not been announced.
So as we speak right now, it doesn't look like there are concrete plans on the ground.
Yes.
To make sure that the February 26th convention
and it's deliberate.
Is actualized.
Yes, and it's deliberate. He wants to cause chaos like he has caused in other states.
But there were a few lists that came out, even though the party asked that people discard those lists. There are those who keep saying that those lists are genuine.
You don't talk about it because the party said we should discard it. You don't talk about it, then it's fake. It's not confirmed. They came out clearly and said it's not confirmed, so we will not talk about it.
Why do you think organizing a convention is so problematic?
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. The problem is someone's vested interest is superseding the national interest. That is just it.
Is it possible that, how will I put it now, he's not exactly a substantive chairman, he's a caretaker chairman. Is it really possible that just his personal interest, do you think that there could be other, powerful backers behind him?
Maybe another factor would be a weak Progressive Governors Forum that we have. Maybe, just maybe, because they look weak. No one is saying anything about it. Do you understand? So this is the main factor, actually. And if you look at all these things, Mahopi, it's not a joke, but they take it to be a joke, trying to push themselves and allow him to stay and conduct presidential primaries.
Do you have a problem with Maimala Buni?
How? I was on this platform defending the same person just a few months ago. And if he does good tomorrow, if Maimala becomes nicer tomorrow, I will come here and support him. Supporting my party. Yes, I was one of his lead guys that hit our chest for him. But he has failed. He has failed. We thought. I'm telling you, he has.
Have you been able to see him to ask questions as to what challenges he has?
He doesn't see people. The 14 state assembly members of Edo State tried to see him. He refused to see them. They came to my office, Baopi. They went to see the secretary, and he told the secretary of the party to tell them to defect to the PDP, that go and follow your governor. That was what he told them. Is this man thinking well?
Okay. Well, let me quickly ask you. I know that you've always had supportive words for the current caretaker chairman of the APC, but it does look like you have your own doubts now with this zoning issue.
Yes. Let me correct this. Just a small issue that I want to correct. My brother Alwan here is talking about the issue of committees. I also asked about that fundamental issue because for any convention to hold, there must be committees that will be set, logistics, media, organization, everything. There should be an organogram where committees will be formed for the purpose of the convention. However, based on my findings, I was made to understand that by this Friday, the committee is going to come out. They form the committees, waiting for the committees to be brought out on Friday, God willing. This
a week before
Friday.
convention.
Yes, before convention. But I want to look at the issue of our great party. To me, this convention is sacrosanct. Whether anybody likes it or not,
You didn't quite answer my question as to whether or not you're still supportive of him. But we'll come back and tackle that a little bit. We'll come back and
that could
tackle
have been a
that.
disservice now, Maupe. If he's supporting what Maimala is doing, it is a disservice to the party.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to hold your peace for a while. We'll have to take a break now. We'll be back shortly, and you'll be allowed to say what you want to say. Please stay with us. Well, we're still talking about the upcoming APC convention that's supposed to hold on the 26th. The affairs that all is not looking like it's set for that convention, even though there are those who say that the date is sacrosanct. How is that going to happen? Mr. Modibbo, you were just about to tell us that I think you said by Friday the subcommittees will be released, but they'll just have a week. He was just observing that it will be a week. And these committees will have to work before the 26th. How is that going to be possible?
Well, as you stated earlier, I have a lot of respect and sympathy for the extraordinary caretaker convention committee under Maimala Buni. I am a very realist and an optimist that I think things will change. Hopefully, let us look at the positives. The point of convergence, and I think we are having a common this with my brother, along the line of seeing that peace, progress, and prosperity of this party comes on board. He's very optimistic. He's a very passionate person, very compassionate on the issue of direction to which this party is moving.
Optimistic? He sounds pretty upset to me about how things are being organized within the party.
It is because of his patriotic and nationalistic intervention or conviction about the party politics. That is why he's very passionate. And I too. But all I'm saying here is that, you see, this party, this convention is sacrosanct. Whether anybody likes it or not.
I understand that. I mean, you've said that over and over again.
Yes.
What I'm saying is the fears that he has raised right now, he's said it without any equivocation that he doesn't seem like the national caretaker chairman has the interest of the party at heart.
No, he has. If he doesn't have, he wouldn't have brought in a lot of governors that have defected, senators and all that. And even more are coming maybe after the convention immediately.
Yes, but there are questions as to how he's putting together this convention.
No, let me tell you. You see, I strongly want to believe that unlike to debunk maybe what skeptics feel, you know, a lot of people prior to this point in time were skeptical about the sincerity of Maimala Buni, seeing that the convention has just been shifted, always shifted, and shifted.
From 6 months.
And that became a major albatross towards the peaceful cohesion and integration of the party. But thank God, as it is today, this convention is sacrosanct, as I've stated. It will come to hold. It will come to pass. Whether they do it 2 days or 3 days, let them form the committees. If they form the committees, my major concern is the zoning formula. Let the zoning formula be made so that we know where the party chairman will come from, and also we know where the presidency is going to come from. As it is today.
If 2 weeks before your convention, the zoning formula is not yet out,
and forms are being sold,
would you still say that the party caretaker chairman has the interest of the party at heart?
No, maybe even today it can come out, because what does it take to zone? Maybe they've already done it, but I want to believe that for us to have peaceful cohesion, integration, and that force to move as a political party that is ready to capture power again in 2023, we must stamp our feet of authority on the conduct of our own congresses. The conduct of congresses is sine qua non to what the party is going to face in the days to come. And I strongly believe that the zoning formula should have been addressed to North Central, so that if we have a North Central chairman of a party, then it's likely we'll have a Southern president. I support fully for peaceful conduct, for national cohesion, national integration, and also for party politics, so that all of us will aggregate ourselves towards having a viable and vibrant political system. We must have at least that zoning formula where at least when we get a Southern candidate, I will be very happy to see our party produce a candidate from the South this time around, so as to balance the political equation.
So you already have your own preferences and you have ideas as to how you think the party should zone it.
Yes.
But we're yet to see anything. Are there permutations Oh, and in terms of how, you know, the party should, in what areas the party should be looking to zone its political positions.
Let me address something he said first before answering your question. Maopi, he spoke about the state congresses. Every crisis that is happening today in the states were created by Memala Buni. From Ogun to Kano, Sokoto to any other state you go to. He sent 2 committees to conduct state congresses in Ogun State. One for Senator Amosun, one for the governor. Tell me if there is anything more chaotic than that. He sent 2 committees to Sokoto, one for Wamako, one for the other faction. He cooked every issue.
You have that information?
Yes.
Credibly?
I have friends. Yes, he knows I have. And I'm speaking on the national TV. He did. He intentionally wrote to courts when the Shekarov faction went to the courts. He intentionally told his legal department to write to the courts that the national body only recognizes the faction of Shekarov. Is that not chaotic? With a sitting governor? It is now, you are now sitting to negotiate? Couldn't he have done that before writing such letter to the courts? What are we talking about, Maopi? Is this a decent pace?
Well, you certainly have your issues with the
It is not issues. My issues are the party has been strangled by evil forces. Yes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, in terms of the zoning.
About zoning,
Yes.
I'll answer you. If we are to learn with the events of the past, no state with an APC governor should be given the party chairmanship for what has happened in Edo State. So if you're zoning it to North Central, make sure it is not Kwara, it is not Kogi, it is not Niger, it is not Nasarawa State. Why? Because they have APC governors. If you're giving somebody from those states chairman, you're going to cause problems in that state, and we might end up losing another state.
Okay.
And if you're taking it to Northeast, you make sure you don't give it to those states that have governors as APCs. You can go to Adamawa. We have good guys like Sonima Monidafe from the Adamawa State. In Benue, in North Central, we have Akume. You can pick those guys and give them. Akume is a party man. He can manage this party.
You already have your candidates, they will say.
Not having candidates. I'm just giving you options.
Well, both of you are both looking at North Central. If there's any common ground here that I can find, let me quickly flip this to my colleagues in Lagos. I'm sure they also have questions for you. Gentlemen.
Well, absolutely, Mark, but thank you very much. And you can really hold, you know, do I say tension, really, from Mr. Alwan Hassan and how he feels towards the party. But I just wonder, do you think it's fair to say that he created all the problems we're seeing across the state, saying that those issues actually predate the 2019 elections, predates when he became the head of the CECP. So do you think it is fair, because it didn't create the rancor we've seen across those states, you know, the splits? That was, except you say that was his thinking or his doing as well. So do you think it's fair to say that he created those problems when a lot of them actually started way before the elections?
Kayode, you conducted state party congresses, and you know there are issues in the state, for example, like Ogun. You know that Senator Ibikule Amosun has issues with the present governor. And you decide, as the party caretaker chairman, to send 2 different committees. One to Senator Ibikule Amosun, one to the sitting governor of Ogun State. Is that not the creation of problems? Do you want me to define what problems are? Is he trying to manage the issues he met, or he's trying to escalate them?
Okay, I just wanted you to clear the word create. Create means, I mean, he started it. And as I said, now you would agree clearly that these problems actually started before 2019 elections, before he became the head of the CECPC. But I'd like you to, I'd like us to defer to your party constitution, which will naturally, you know, guide all the activities within your party. Seeing the build-up to this convention, what section or what provision in that constitution would you say the CECPC is breaking with its conduct regarding zoning, you know, formation of those subcommittees for the convention? What section would you say they are breaking?
It is not about section of the Constitution. It is about a proper planning, Kylie. It's not about section. We are 2 weeks to the convention, and there are no subcommittees to properly manage and organize the convention. You are going to sell forms today. You want to start selling forms today, and you don't have a zoning arrangement. Who is buying what? The president had approved since last year, November, the rotational offices from the south to the north and north to the south in the NWC. And you still can't come up with the zoning arrangement, speaking to stakeholders every day? Is that proper? Suddenly you came out with a constitutional amendment yesterday that a committee sat and wrote without consulting stakeholders. We haven't seen them called caucus meeting, and you are releasing it out. And you want to ratify that amendment at the day of convention. Is he not trying to cause crisis? Go through the amendments and see. Is he not trying to cause riots? What are we talking about, Coyote?
There's a popular saying that I'm very sure you are aware of, which is something that Coyote has also mentioned earlier. A tree does not make a forest, so there has to be some collusion here and there. So let me ask Mr. Modibbo this one. Well, there is something that the president had said, I don't know, not too long ago, that, well, literally a warning to the APC that if you do not put your house in order, if this unity in the party continues, the APC will lose massively in the coming elections. What, in your opinion, should happen before this convention in order to ensure that this unity does not scatter whatever progress the convention is intended for?
Well, using any parameter of democratic process, my brother, the APC is set. And I think in the interest of party democracy and cohesion, this is a party that has internal mechanisms for conflict resolution. And I strongly believe that there's possibility of us, whatever our current situation we might have, I've always been maintaining that the political party is not a mosque or a church where you go and sit quietly. There must be divergence of views. But the common consensus that we are supposed to have is towards peace building, prosperity, and progress of the party and the nation at large. But before then, let me have a divergence of views with my brother Arwan about the chairmanship of the party. The chairmanship of the party should not, I do not disagree that it should not come from states that we have governors. Like Al-Makura, if you've seen, he got the blessings of his governor, and this is a man that has experience. He was a youth leader in Plateau State under MPN. He was a governor, a senator, somebody that has been able to build a profile. A person that has governed the state very well, and he has done very well for the people and for the general progress and prosperity of the state. And I have the strong conviction that a person of that magnitude, based on the feelings of the people and also based on the media approach and the kind of people that have been aggregating opinion about what the chairman should be, I think he's shoulder high among all the rest of the contestants. I agree. Mr. Soni Monidafe is a very competent person. Most of the people that have come out to look for chairmanship of the party, they are very competent. But there must be somebody, an arrowhead, and I think Al-Makura should provide the answer.
Well, Mr. Modibbo,
let me go back to your question.
Okay. Go ahead, because I was going to draw you back to the fact that, look, all of these lofty things you have talked about, will there be a light at the end of the tunnel if there is such strong disunity in the party?
You see, the disunity is what unites us together. I strongly believe that as a political party, the APC has internal mechanisms of conflict resolution. And all of us that we're talking about this party are passionate. We have this patriotic feeling about this party.
I'm sorry, Mr. Modibbo. My sincere apologies. I have heard in unity we stand. Are you saying in disunity the APC stands?
You see, the APC are symbolized by the broom. It is a very cohesive and coherent political party. You can see how the broom is. You can't swim with one broom. It is a combination of brooms or this thing. That's why the symbol of broom is there.
With a touch of umbrella.
Therefore, We strongly believe that APC as a political party, despite the problems here and there that is created, despite the problems that we have in different states and what have you, it is what makes political tick. It is the beauty of democracy. It is one of the tonics, as far as I'm concerned.
What makes this a little confusing and disturbing, Mr. Modibbo? My sincere apologies again. What makes this a little confusing and disturbing is that the APC is the ruling party at the federal level and has a significant number of states. So to see the level of fractions within the party, and you're still talking about it being as united, though disunited, it's a little troubling. But let me ask Mr. Hassan. So this is where we are now. In the build-up to the convention of the party, and I'm sure all of the things you're saying, you're not saying maybe out of dislike or anything. You're saying because you really want things to go the way it ought to go. For you, what are the things that needs to happen urgently to unite the forces that will meet at that APC convention in order for the expected outcomes to be achieved?
It's left for him to take on the responsibilities he was appointed for, Ayo. If he decides to do it, he can.
Are you saying, my sincere apologies, Mr. Hassan, one of the things, just a second, we said earlier, and Kaude referenced it, that look, one person cannot do it all. There are at least 36 state chairmen in the parties, and there are governors in all of the states, APC governors all over the place that govern affairs. What are the things that members of the party must do? I don't recall the president saying that it's the national chairman that has to foster this unity, that this unity will break up the party and cause the loss of the party. I don't think that's something that only the chairman of the party can do. So for all those who are critical stakeholders in the party, what are the things that they need to do?
All hands must be on deck, but a political will has to come from the party chairman. He was appointed to reconcile. He has ended up dividing us the more. As it stands today, APC is at its lowest. A comrade Adams Oshomole cannot stoop this low. The party is at its lowest. Whosoever becomes the chairman tomorrow, we must rise. And just as Mr. Ibrahim is saying, that the date of convention is sacrosanct. Yes, it is sacrosanct because the president is committed in giving us the convention. And whatever it is that the Maimala chairman, whatever it is Maimala is doing, he's doing that to bring shame to the president. And we know it, and we will defend it. We defended the president and stood by him all through, and we'll still do it.
Well, I asked earlier if any of the things that the CECP is doing is unconstitutional, at least from the party's constitution's point of view, and you said no. So this will sound more personal than it is of a constitutional issue and all that. And that's what it might come across as, except you otherwise say, well, there's a constitutional provision that is broken.
Let me tell you something, Kayode. You're talking about if it's constitutional. If Maimala Buni decides to escape doing a convention, giving us a convention next week, his plans are to conduct the presidential primaries. And the presidential primaries are not conducted until you conduct a gubernatorial primary throughout the state, the 36 states. So it means Maimala Buni wants to give himself another ticket of a second term in Yobe.
Well, interestingly, you said if.
To conduct the presidential elections.
Interestingly, you put a conditional word there. You said if.
Does that sound right? Do you think it's constitutional?
Well, you said if, so it's still a conditional statement. You said if it doesn't hold.
But that is his plan. Those are his plans, Kayode. I'm telling you his plans.
Well, clearly you have an inkling into the inner workings of the CECPC. But let me take this to Mr. Modibbo as we wind down on this. So clearly you're being carried along, it would seem, as well. But Mr. Modibbo, Mr. Hassan raised an issue about the Constitution Amendment. And, I mean, seeing the name of the committee, it's a Convention Planning Committee and Caretaker Committee. There's no convention, there's no Constitution Amendment in that mandate. So do you think that the committee really has that mandate or is right to amend the Constitution at this time, just what, days to the convention?
You see, under any democracy or democratic culture, the issue of constitutionalism is something that is never static. The world over, constitutions are meant to be reviewed. It could be by anybody, including the caretaker committee. So if it is reviewed to test the rhyme and rhythm of the yearning aspiration of the political party, so be it. So it is not as if this caretaker committee, going even by the pronouncement of the Supreme Court, it has the full backing of the law. In the case of Jegede against the governor of...
it has the full backing of the law to be a caretaker committee. That's what you're making.
Yes, and also to make laws.
I don't think anyone has challenged that.
No, nobody has challenged it.
The question is about the review of the constitution of the party, if it has the mandate to do that.
Yes, the thing is, constitution is something that is
But you
flexible.
must speak with stakeholders.
Yes.
You must call caucus meeting before bringing it out.
I agree.
He's bringing it out deliberately to cause chaos.
Alwan, let me
We
learn.
know this.
Let me learn. You see, I agree with you that there should have been consultation, but I strongly also believe that constitution as it is something that is flexible, that should be amended anytime to suit the tempo of the political rhythm.
So as we speak right now, you've
Yes.
just said that the subcommittees of the planning committee will be out this Friday.
Yes.
That's the message that you have,
Yes.
or that's the word that you have.
Yes.
How confident are you that given that they will just have about a week to the convention, that the convention itself will be a success?
You see, I'm an incurable optimist. I strongly believe in party unity and cohesion. And let me tell you, without any fear of contradiction, that this thing, let me reiterate again for the nth time, that this convention is sacrosanct. It must go on. Whether we like it or not,
Will it be successful?
Because the president is
That's the
firm on it.
question.
Yes, I agree.
Will it be successful?
Of course it will.
You are optimistic that
I
it will
am
be?
very optimistic that with the kind of... I have not seen the committees yet. I have not seen, but it will definitely come on Friday.
Okay.
God willing. And therefore, I want to believe that as a political party, we want to see to the progress and cohesion of this party. We are all together.
We're totally out of time now. Alwan, are you optimistic as well? Are you as optimistic as he is?
Yes,
that if the list should come out this Friday, you still have a chance of having a successful convention?
We do, Maupe, even if it's going to be without a proper planning. We will still have the convention because the president is committed to that.
Will it be successful?
It should be successful because the leader of the party is respected and he's the person to unite everybody. That's the president.
Okay, we'll wait to see how it eventually pans out. They say Friday is the date that they'll see the release of the names of the subcommittees for the planning of the convention, which will hold on the 26th of February. See how things eventually goes in the leading party, the party that is at the helm of affairs in the country. Thank you so much for coming on, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ibrahim Modibbo is a former presidential APC campaign counsel, and Alwan Hassan is a member of the All Progressives Congress.